expect to see some clarity on.
My bad, guys. How's that?
As we speak, I think the national audit is still going on, right? I think over the next
Video
next
capture
2 to 3
that
weeks.
needs to be off.
And chief
My bad,
executive
guys.
of
I think I
the
messed it
leading
up.
tech company
How's that? Is that a little better?
I think according to the top officials' comments, they're really not hurt the sector, but really to understand a bit more how they do things.
Okay, there you go.
Big new
I had to reset my scene and messed it up.
I think that the objective really
We're looking
is
at the
to,
Asian markets right now. I've never heard of the Kosdaq before. I don't know what that is. But Kospi, that's Korea. They're starting off good.
Fairly. So I think there could be still overhang. Probably this month, and perhaps leading towards.
Jake says he's 5'5". Can I kick his ass? I'm only 5'6", so probably not. Alright, now we're looking good. How'd you guys make out today? Did you all flip over to Bear Gang yesterday? I stayed Bull Gang and I'm looking good today.
So revenue is starting to emerge, but we have to be very selective.
We can't talk regulatory
Looks like we are primed to open up pretty strong in Asia.
Do you think that all the de-risking for China has already
Cacao,
happened?
well, that's South Korean.
What would you need to see to actually increase
They're looking
exposure
good.
again?
Yeah, that's a great question. According to our analysts,
according to Leung, do not believe that Evergrande's default will pose a systemic threat.
They have raised the risk premium
Barings Asset Management.
Chinese market.
I mean, what happened with Evergrande, I don't see how it couldn't spill over, at least to some extent.
For the moment,
God, look at that stock though,
there are
man. Jeez.
foreseeable circumstances.
Absolutely destroyed.
Valuation in China is, again, it's decent, but it's not too
The
cheap
Chinese
because
government
earnings
could
are
buy
still,
this whole company for
still,
nothing.
Treading water. But we definitely are not selling at these levels. It looks
going
like
on, John Walker?
Maybe next 3 to 6 months, we could be a bit more.
That guy who
clarity
invests
and,
says, when did you
also
first
sort of
begin?
institutionalize
When you
regulatory
first began
framework,
building up your portfolio, did you start with Triple Q or individual stocks? When I first started investing, I started with penny stocks. I don't recommend doing that. Definitely recommend starting with the ETFs. So Triple Q, SPY, that's it.
James, great to have you with us.
And Jake, I've never run into any trouble getting level 3 or 4 options on, or level 5 options on Merrill. They're easy. Tasty Works, try them.
Heidi, thank you. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren has criticized
Congrats, Kevin.
leadership. Chair Jerry Powell showed bad judgment by failing to stop unusual trading activity by top officials. Speaking Senate floor, Warren
This is interesting. I didn't think they were going to talk about this today. Congress people that are making the decisions regarding our finances, when to raise the debt ceiling.
Last week,
All right, Warren. Okay, let's see.
For Chair Powell's renomination, because in one decision after another, he has consistently failed to serve as an effective financial regulator.
Oh, hey, Undivine,
That's not
welcome.
his only failure. Chair Powell has also failed as a leader.
Meanwhile, Chair Powell has received the backing of more than half the Republicans on the Senate Banking Committee, which could have...
I don't know. What do you guys? You guys want to see? You want to see Jay Powell stay in, or you want to see him out? I don't want to see Jay Powell ever go away. He can stay as long as he wants to.
Powell's term expires in February.
Uh-oh.
The son of the late Philippine
February's the Bear
dictator
Gang.
Ferdinand Marcos will run for president in next year's elections. Former Senator Ferdinand Marcos Jr. announced his candidacy via a Facebook video, promising to focus on pandemic recovery and unifying leadership. The 64-year-old, known as Bong Bong, joins a crowded field.
Oh, I'd vote for a guy named Bong Bong.
Boxer turned senator Manny Pacquiao and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno. Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam is expected to answer Beijing's directive to ease the city's housing crisis.
Have you guys heard about this, Carrie Lam? She's the Chinese Communist Party's puppy dog over in Hong Kong. Pretty much gave the whole state away to mainland China. It was almost a year ago at this point. Jake, I wheel one at a time, that's it.
24 hours a day on air and on Bloomberg Quick Take, powered by more than
Nah, Jose, I'm still at my day job. Trying to quit soon though. Welcome, Stocked Up.
Brian Bonnie still ahead. More on Carrie Lam's policy address in Hong Kong. The European Chamber of Commerce says the city is losing out to Singapore in the race to be Asia's premier business center. But up next, GIC
Yeah, it just got taken over by the.
says he doesn't see systemic risk from Evergrande's debt crisis. Our exclusive
I'd like to hear
interview
from this
the
guy
Bloomberg Invest
talking
Global
about
Summit
Evergrande
is
risk.
next. This is Bloomberg.
I mean, realistically, you've got the whole Belt and Road Initiative probably taking on a lot more debt than people recognize in China. Oh, we're on commercial. Alright, looks like we're starting off pretty strong though. The Nikkei is up, Kospi's up, Hang Seng is up, even the Hang Seng is up, that's great. FTSE 100, CAC, everything is up across the board, so as long as the US doesn't drop the ball, we should be in pretty good shape today. I mean, seeing today, or tomorrow I mean, seeing today go up, that was a big deal for me. Because I think we've really got to recover. Let's bounce out here for a second. We really need to recover our 50-day moving average. So where's my moving average? I'll do the exponential. Alright, so we zoom in a little bit. What are my values on these moving average? I don't want the 9-day. Give me the 50-day moving average. I'll take the 20 exponential. Alright, so super close in color. But we've got, alright, we got the 50-day moving average here. Now, if we don't recover this 50-day moving average pretty quickly, then we're going to start flipping into that bear mode. I mean, right now it's already kind of looking downward a little bit. But, I mean, the exponential moving average, obviously, it's going to flip south. But we need to recover this 50-day moving average, or else we're going to end up with this head and shoulders pattern here, which should ding us down to about the, I don't know, maybe here is the next support, at about 420-ish. Yeah, it could get pretty ugly if we don't turn it around soon. But seeing today increase, alright, so we were able to recover, at least at one point, past yesterday's high, which is good. If we can hold here, then I think we're back in the clear. All this Evergrande, the debt ceiling, that stuff should resolve itself. I don't expect that that Congress is actually going to let all their money disappear because they can't pass a debt ceiling bill, as if we care about the debt anymore in this country. Alright, we're back on Bloomberg.
Singapore Wealth Fund GIC is weighing portfolio changes in response to China's wide-ranging regulatory curbs favoring sectors that are supported by Beijing. CEO Lim Chao-kiat spoke exclusively from the Bloomberg Invest Global Conference.
We don't. I mean, we believe that actually the problem has been quite well flagged as well. You might recall, actually, for a number of years, China, right, talked about, the need to rein in financial excesses, financial leverage, right, on top of, eliminating poverty, on top of environmental pollution, right? These are the three sort of big,
the last time we had a 4%
evils,
loss,
right, that they had to
October 2020.
So this is, I guess, another case of
we went an entire year without a 4% drop in a month.
Challenge that they're trying to wrestle. And if you look at the balance sheet that the central government has and the regulatory power, we think they have significant, control, right, over the situation. So we don't expect that to be systemic. There will be some pain, inflicted on certain segment of the value chain, but we don't expect it to, come out to be a big systemic problem.
Would you buy Chinese
good
bonds
news.
right now? Would you buy Evergrande bonds?
Yeah, ask that
right
pointed
now?
question. Would you buy Evergrande?
Right. Well, do the homework, right?
Is that a yes or a no, Chao Kiat?
Selectively, yes. Right? It cannot be a broad brush thing. Actually,
He's afraid to say no.
And especially these days, you cannot kind of approach it on a top-down broad basis. You have to deploy your teams on the ground to do so.
That was a GIC CEO Lim Chao-kiat there speaking with Bloomberg's Haslinda Ahmed. Well, investors in the West, of course, souring when it comes to investing in China. Let's bring our
See, I picked one of the worst times to invest in China because I bought 100 shares of FXI, which is the China Large Cap Index, right before the whole thing crashed.
Opportunity is
I think we're probably going to see the Chinese government bail out Evergrande, though.
Yeah, invest in China or not invest in China at your peril, right? It's the big debate. Whether China right now is uninvestable, as some have said. Even George Soros said pouring billions into China right now would be a tragic mistake. But others, of course, do see opportunity.
How do you have billions of dollars and not just monopolize Bitcoin?
Because at the Bloomberg Invest Global Conference combined a lot of very significant and influential money managers and brains, of course, and they were all asked about the China situation right now, including Dawn Fitzpatrick, the CIO of the Soros Fund Management. She said, and I quote, "We are not putting money into China right now." Let's get her reasoning for that.
Yeah, those asking about the 3K challenge, it's still there. I just haven't made a trade in a while. I made like one video this month. I don't have a whole lot of time to be making videos right now, but I want to go full time on YouTube soon.
They don't need that
anymore. We're gonna get there.
So they can take their $700 billion and take it back onshore into Hong Kong, and I think that's what they're going to do. So when it comes to the U.S. listings, if I were investors, I'd be really careful here.
Caution, including from Luke S., who runs the world's biggest publicly traded hedge fund, of course, at the Man Group. He says China looks less attractive.
More firms may delist.
A year ago because of all the uncertainty, the regulatory crackdowns, the politics, and the like, and you have to be a little bit more nimble these days.
Not everyone's so bearish on China, though, right?
No, not everyone. Obviously, we just heard that interview.
Not Mikey Millions. I got 100 shares.
The Sovereign Wealth Fund of
Singapore. It's like $4,000.
They are still constructively engaged in
yeah,
China.
yen is the triple leveraged, I think. I've got FXI, that's the base index.
Sectors. Also, of course, we had Blackstone's COO, Jonathan Gray, saying China will continue to grow faster than the developed markets, and he cited the entrepreneurial spirit in China, as well as a government that wants GDP growth to improve the lives and livelihoods of its people. This is what Jonathan Gray had to say from Blackstone.
So if you think about education, you think about healthcare, you think about housing, things that impact lower and middle income Chinese people, those are areas you have to be more selective. The same thing around some of the businesses that have a lot of consumer data. But broadly speaking, as China has traded off...
You know what's really taking off in China is electric cars. I think they're estimating over 50% will be electric in the next 10 years, something like that. Lithium is the investment. LIT is the way to go. I started my lithium investment just a couple of weeks ago, and I've been wheeling it at the 85 price, the 85 strike. That one's been going pretty well. I'm just going to take the premium and buy some more shares of it.
There with the latest on all of those calls on China. You can get a roundup of the stories that you need to know to get your day going. In today's edition of Daybreak, Bloomberg subscribers go to Go on your terminals. Also available on mobile in the Bloomberg Anywhere app.
I don't think I've ever actually met anybody with a Bloomberg terminal.
The news on the industries and the assets that you care about. This is Bloomberg.
That's so much stuff. Alright, looks like we're on another commercial break, so I think now is my opportunity. Let's just get this sponsored segment out of the way. I know you guys hate sponsorships, but I do what I do because I like you guys, but I also need the money. So, the sponsor of this episode is Grumpy Dragons, the NFT. What they're trying to do here is create NFTs with varying rarity. And the goal is to sell these and then use them as keys to get into their exclusive community. I can't tell you much about that exclusive community because I don't know about it yet. They're looking to build this special surprise for all the yummy looters to be revealed later. And it'll be traded on the Solana blockchain, minted on Friday for the price of 1 Sol. So I think what we've seen with this type of NFT project, where it's making plans to make plans, I think the way to make money off these, if you decide to risk, because there's a lot of risk here, is to roll the dice and hope you get a very rare NFT. If you're able to do that, like you get one that looks like this with a very low percentage of mints looking like that, you can flip them. If you really are bullish, which is kind of hard to do, if you're really bullish, which is tough to do right now because there's so many very similar projects, then maybe buy 2 NFTs, hope you can flip one, get your money back, and then hold the additional one. It'll give you access to their community. And what I think is interesting, this is the one that's fun, looking for opportunities to get these bonus loots. I think the only way that these NFTs are going to be able to survive as just an image only is if they create these partnerships that they're counting on. I think there's a lot of opportunities for gamification of NFTs Like imagine a Pokemon game that you could play Pokemon cards virtually, digitally, doing competitions, tournaments, things like that. By having one of those cards is the only way you can play them. And you don't need a centralized agency to quarterback it either. If they're NFTs, you can trade them amongst each other. People can trade their Magic cards, have tournaments, things like that, without having to have one location that's managing it all. And you can do it remotely. And that's going to become more important because I think a lot of people just don't want to travel. With things like this, really what you're trying to do, buy the NFT, flip it, look for that rare print, and you can make some money. So what I got with Wealthy Whales, this was the last one I did, very, very similar. If I open up, here's what I got. I got a bunch of these goofy whales. Here's one, Wealthy Whale, number 20. I think I got number 2, actually. Somebody tell me, is there value in just having, like, the second mint? Is that a thing? But anyway, that's what I got. I got 5 of these. None of them are particularly rare. I think this is probably my best one. But keeping one of these and selling the other 4, give me an opportunity to stay part of that community. Might do the same thing over here. It's only one soul. It's like 160 bucks for an NFT. It's a dice roll, but it can be worth a shot. As far as their Grumpy Dragons, oh, mint price is 2 soul. Alright, my bad. Sorry, sponsor. That's my fault. It's 2 soul, not 1. So you're rolling a lot of dice here. But they have 17.2 thousand followers, which is pretty good for an NFT project of this age. You take an opportunity to get something like this. It's got a community talking about it. You can buy it right off the website. I'll drop it here. Oh, you guys can't see the whales. You couldn't see those. Oh no, I'm sorry. You know why you couldn't see the whales? Because it's on a different window. Here, let me flip up here, and I'll show you. Let me just reset my OBS real quick. And we will do... I'll show you guys my whales. You don't want to miss out on this. You know what? Because it's an add-on to it. I'm going to have to do a display capture. Alright, this is the sketchiest way to ever do this, but we're going to do it that way. Alright. I think you guys can see me now. I look like a ghost on your screen, but that's okay. Man, everybody dropped off. Alright, so here's what we got for the whales. Alright, we got Robot Guy here. This is probably the best one, number 20 whale. And then here is number 2 whale. So nothing, I didn't get anything super rare, but I did get the number 2 one. So somebody tell me, is there value in just having the second mint? Because that's pretty cool. And then virtually the same project over here, same type of deal. Roll those dice, see if you can get a rare mint, and then resell it on the Sol blockchain. It's super cheap. So to list these things is like $3. So there, I will for now pin the Grumpy Dragons message. And unless there's any questions about these NFT projects, my disclosure, I get paid $2,000 to promote these. So first is paid up front, second half is paid after the project mints. And that buys as many NFTs as I want, basically. Maybe not this one, it's 2 souls, kind of a lot. But alright, unless there's any questions, let's get rolling. We'll get back over to, let me delete my, I'll delete my display capture. And there we go. Okay, I think we're good. Alright, let's get back to Bloomberg.
And 24 countries. So I think everybody is getting very serious about it, and everybody is believing that this is very feasible.
Japan has a new prime minister. I'd like to hear your expectations.
Yeah, the Japanese prime minister resigned. His party gets to select his own, gets to select a leader.
IT and 5G businesses. The most important things of politics is the stability, I believe, for the business like us. Kishida-san, and he announced a new fund of 10 trillion yen and to support science and technology, as well as the pledge for the carbon neutral. So I think the things moves well, and I'm looking forward to and seeing new
Kishida's policy would benefit our business. Alright, so the ETF for Japan, EWJ, that's on my list of ETFs that I wanna buy into. I'm using my, oh, wait a minute, is that Sora? Yes. Alright. We're getting Kingdom Hearts characters and Super Smash Brothers. That's it, I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold. That's a lot of viewers. Alright, that is the most exciting thing I've heard all day. Anyway, what I was saying before is I'm using the this around the world strategy when it comes to my portfolio, because I want to diversify outside of just the US. I mean, Triple Q is like the largest part of my portfolio. I've got Leaps on SPY. Most of the companies I own are all heavily exposed to the United States. If there ever really was a huge shutdown in the US, I'd be in trouble. So I wanted to diversify outside outside the United States. So I'm using the around the world strategy, where I'm selling strangles on Triple Q and the company or the country that I want to invest in, and then using the premium to buy shares of that ETF. So I wanted to invest in Brazil, so I sold strangles on Triple Q, used the premium to buy EWZ, sold strangles on EWZ, and then reinvested the premium even further. I did the same thing with China. I did that until I got 100 shares of each. Now I'm on India next. It's INDA is the ticker. And then Japan is also going to be on the list, so that's EWJ. I am not part Japanese, so it's a very good question. So Kamikaze has nothing to do with my heritage. I wanted to be Ninja Trader, but that's already taken by a very powerful and important person. I tried Samurai Trader, those are all taken. Samurais, ninjas, what else? Anything like that was all taken, so I said, what's the closest I can get to a ninja? Fuck it, Kamikaze. And then that's how I became Kamikaze Cash. It was supposed to be a temporary name, but it just stuck, so I kept it. Here we go. You guys heard about this all.
About issues like safety and well-being. Frances Haugen, a former product manager at Facebook, testified Tuesday in Congress describing research she said showed the company prioritizing profit. Zuckerberg also talking about yesterday's
a company prioritizing profit. I don't know why we pretend that that's not why a company exists. That is literally the point of a company, is to make profit. So I don't know why a court would be coming after Facebook for just trying to do that. Unless they're actually breaking a law. I mean, why do we really need to go bear mode on Facebook? Like, literally the point of a company existing is to make money for its shareholders. Like, that's the whole point. Oh, I only have 5 minutes of free TV remaining, guys. We're gonna have to do something else after this. Alright, so somebody said, how do you fix leaps? I have a few MU calls, and I'm worried it might go sideways for a little while. Yeah, so I think, what's his name down there? What John Walker said was, yeah, use the poor man's covered call. So what you'd be doing is selling calls against your leaps, using your leaps as collateral to sell covered calls. So you would sell out of the money calls, and then receive the premium for it. You could probably just reinvest into shares if you want to, or you could use that money to roll your leaps later. So I'm doing PMCC on Snap right now. That's the method I'm using. Take the premium, buy shares. I'll roll the leaps much later. I like his accent. Who's this guy? Alright, Asia stocks rising. That's very good. Very, very good. Because it is essential that no more coal power plants are built. And personally, I know nobody really wants to invest in clean energy. Like, nobody wants to actually have to make that move. That's very expensive to move to clean energy. But if we do not, I think the effects are going to be even worse. So if there's an opportunity to really get away from coal, things like that, I think we need to take it as a world. I'm about to run out of TV time here. Do you guys want to do my portfolio before we, you want to do that? I didn't realize I had limited time on Bloomberg TV. I can log into my portfolio. Hold on. Somebody's knocking on my door.
Speech and some of these policy changes when it September Hong Kong PMI numbers coming through. Of course, this is an economy that we have seen really suffer under these increased and continuing lockdown and restrictions with regard to the pandemic. We are seeing the market Hong Kong PMI for September coming in at 51.7. That is a little bit softer than what we saw in the previous month of 53.3.
All right, I'm back.
We continue to see that economic drag play out. Let's take a look at some of the market reaction that we are seeing.
Turns out that was actually my wife knocking for me.
Keep themselves on the front.
She's not too happy with me streaming right now.
Well, we are seeing some relief after the steep losses that we saw that worsened in Asia on Tuesday. Bounce back from the
All right, hey, what I'm gonna do over here, because I'm about to run out of TV time, I'm going to I'll open up my portfolio. We could do that.
But it's still staying below that 3,000 level so far this morning. And in the activities we're seeing,
And that'd be the last thing that we do for the day, actually.
By 0.2%, but banks are under pressure after the tweaks that we saw for loan buffer requirements.
Because I want to show you guys the strangle strategy.
This morning, we're seeing the oil rally steady around a 7-year high, with data showing that U.S. stockpiles are set for a second weekly increase. But signals are staying bullish for crude when it comes to time spreads and movement indicators. Check out copper, though, seeing some extended losses in
from above, want your guys' opinion on AMC.
Cautioning that China's power consumption declines will hurt construction demand for metals and inflationary pressures.
John Walker had to do my thing here. She just got home from work. Hey, that sponsor paid me $1,000 today to stream, so I was gonna do it one way or another.
Just holding around that 117 level so far this morning, with the markets pricing in more than 80% chance of a rate hike from New Zealand. And switching out the board,
We can do my portfolio and then we'll wrap up here.
in the Asia session, we are seeing bond bears at work, with a 30-year yield pushing above 211 for the first time since the end of June, while break-even rates continue to creep higher to a 4-month high on 2- and 10-year break-evens as we count down to the Friday jobs report from the U.S.
Right, so Brookfield Asset Management CEO says that this is
we'll come back to that in a
to
minute.
be liquidating assets, especially as there is significant money.
Can I go over
in
crypto?
debt
Yeah, just buy
and equity
Ethereum.
markets. Bruce Flatt spoke to Bloomberg's Jason Kelly at the Bloomberg Invest Global Summit.
The really good news is the health issues have or are
Alright, I don't have too much longer, so let's pause Bloomberg. I'm gonna come back to that. I don't have unlimited TV anyway, apparently. And then last thing, if you guys are just joining in, hey, give that Grumpy Dragons a click, make it look good. And then let's check out the accounts. So this is what happened today in my portfolio. I'm going to be white as a ghost on your screen, but that's just going to have to do. Alright, Apple obviously bouncing back, nothing big. Coinbase had a huge day because crypto has bounced back. So I've recently started investing in crypto, and when I'm investing in crypto, that means that we are rising in momentum, because I'm probably one of the last people to invest. So we might be at the crest here, but I think we've got a little bit more time. I usually invest like 1 month before the peak in crypto, so I think, you know, by early November we're going to start coming off again. But October is bound to be a good month. Alright, so here's the Chinese index. So I have a 41, I started with a 43 by 41 strangle. Obviously China shit the bed and went down, so I rolled my call down. Took, I think it was like $300 profit, rolled it into the strangle. So now I'm still down about $200 on this strangle, but all these shares are paid for with premium. So even though I'm down $288 on the 100 shares, I still have $3,800 of value, which was all profit at the time. So ASB, you're funny. So I'm wheeling GameStop, and it looks like shit right now because this. When I sold the put at 195, that's where the stock was at. Obviously not looking too hot right now. I've got about a 180 break even at the end of next week. But during this time, even though, so here's my hedge that's lost $2,200 in value. During the time I've been wheeling this, which was like the last 3 months, I've been able to pull $5,000 or $6,000 from it. So wheeling GameStop is obviously very lucrative. But I think the stock could drop at any time. So I bought a put as protection, and of course that one's now evaporating in value, but that's okay because it's a hedge. It's supposed to lose value. So wheeling GameStop, it can be done. My recommendation: make sure you have a long put as protection as well. India is my next around the world. Here's lithium. Where's the one I want to show you is triple Q. So it's going to be a little bit hard to read what's going on here, but what I started with, all right, ignore this one in the middle. That's closed out. Where's my 364s? Okay. So what I started with was a 376 call, short 376 call, by 364 strangle. The stock dropped several times. Triple Q has had a really bad time. So I have rolled down several times. I started with, actually I started with 379 by 364, rolled the 379 call down, took the gain, rolled to 376. Stock dropped further, so I rolled down again to 364. And now I've turned this into a straddle. It's no longer a strangle. So although my put wing has lost $1,000 by rolling down my calls wing several times, I think I've made something like $1,400. So really I'm green $400 on the strangle overall. Plus I got this little one here left with about $613 total on it. Actually more like $600 now after today. So if the stock were to stay flat through the end of next week, I will have lost something like, I don't know, what did I sell it for? 5, now it's worth 8, so what would I have lost here? 7. I would have lost about $900 on the put swing. But on the calls wing, by rolling down several times, I was able to secure gains. My face is giving you guys nightmares. But my call has given me gains of like $1,400. Plus I've got this one with 600 left, it'll be close to 2,000 by the time it's done. By rolling down those wings into this straddle, I've been able to secure those gains and protect me even though the stock has dropped. So even though Triple Q is down about 7% from its highs, I was still able to salvage this thing. Now if it drops another 7%, I'm in trouble. I'm going to have to roll out in time and try to drop this put's strike price. That would hurt a little bit. But right now I'm still green despite a 7% pullback, and that just goes to show you how powerful the strangle can be when you manage it. And then we've got Snap. So this one's kind of been a trickier one for me. So I've got 3 leaps at the 50 and 2 leaps at the $60 strike. So these 5 I've been using for PMCCs, but I'm only selling 3 calls against them. Because the delta on this 60 is really not that high. The stock is only 73. So I think the delta over here is probably like 70. I don't want to be selling 2 PMCCs against that 170. Not for a stock like Snap that can go up 20% in a day. So I'm selling 3 short calls against 5 leaps. The leaps are doing okay on the 50, the 60 is a little rough. But look at the value that I've been able to pull here. 55%, this is, what is that? $550 almost. Doesn't expire for a little while. But then here, 151 expiring this week. It's still got 50% of its value left. This can go pretty well. It'll be a $250 gain. I'll just roll right back into shares. So I think Snap is going to be alright. So I'm just going to buy shares and hold it for the long term. And then I realized you can sell like garbage puts on Tesla, things that nobody should be buying, like a $650 put expiring in 3 days. You can sell these puts for like $100. Like, this is complete trash. The stock is not going to drop $40 every day until the end of the week. I know those are famous last words, but I don't think it's going to happen. $130 in the next 3 days, this thing's got to drop. It's not going to happen. So, hey, I'm taking my $100 at a time. I'm just going to buy some shares of something with it. Yeah, I know I'm almost invisible. That kills you, but thank you. So anyway, I'm going to keep doing that. Roll it into some shares. Not of Tesla, because I don't have enough from that. But that's the goal. Every week, just pull $100, $400 and something a month. Not too bad for something that's not going to expire in the money. And if it did, if Tesla really did go down to 650, guess what I'm going to do? I put out the video on it today. I would roll. I would roll down and out and pull some more premium by selling something further into the future. Something that expires in a month instead of a week, and it would be just fine. So if you guys have watched the video today, today's rolling video, you know how that works. A lot of you have probably been rolling already and didn't even know it had a name. And some of you are probably experts on it. This is my baby right here. I'm not going to sell this one. This one's staying. Those are my 3 leaps at the $250 strike. I'll tell you what, when this thing expires at the end of 2022, if I have an extra 75 G's sitting around, I'll go ahead and buy 300 shares at that price. That's no sweat. So that's my thing. Alright, I'm going to answer Kim Jong-un's question because I think it's a great one. Do you buy to close on the Tesla put early or just let it expire? The usual conventional advice is to take your profits on a short put at 50%. It might take you 3 weeks to get 50% profit on a 4-week short put. And you'll be like, why would I close it at 50% gain with only a week left before I have 100% gain? I'll tell you what's worse than that. What's worse than waiting 3 weeks for 50% gain is waiting 4 weeks for a 70% loss. That's much worse. And I've had it happen to me so many times. Stock will whipsaw in that last 2 or 3 days before expiration. So conventionally, you take profit at 50%. And that's really what you should be doing with these strangles. I should have closed this out already. I'm just being stubborn, looking for that touchdown when I should take the field goal. But with Tesla, it's only a week at a time. And I really think that this is just somebody else's hedge that I sold them. So this time, I'm willing to let it expire unless we reach like 90% gain, which I don't think is going to happen. Not until expiration day, because this thing will cling to its extrinsic value for a while. So, anyway, I guess that's going to be it for the night. Got to go and have family time. But thank you guys for tuning in late at night. I'm going to try to do the Dank Trades video as soon as possible. I've already got part of it done already. I've already got the 5 people picked out. And then probably do a freeloader challenge next. But I'm ready to wrap this up here.